Hi guys, welcome to my channel Roots for Software Engineer. In previous video, we covered about installation process of React, and in this video, I will cover components topic. Okay, now without late, let me take first paint to write our notes. Okay, now arrange it. Next after this one. Okay, now uh, okay, now look at here. What is it? Components topic. We need to go with here components topic, right? But before going to the component, first we'll see. Okay, now first we'll see about the React. Okay, now what is React and why we need to use React? Okay, now React is actually it is one of the JavaScript library. Already we know. Okay, it is one of the JavaScript library and which is used to create user interface applications, right? Okay, now user interface applications also we are creating only single, okay, single page applications we are creating single page user interface applications we are creating. Okay, now if you want to follow this one, okay, now we need to go with some features. Okay, we need to follow some features to create this type of application, and first feature and main feature is the component. Okay, because React is completely depending on the components topic, and components means we can create one time, we can create one time, and we can utilize multiple times in the same application. Okay, now example take any one of the application, and for that application number of web pages we have inside one website, and for that website now each and every web page having the common portion call it as header, and common portion call it as footer. Okay, now if I will create this header portion and footer portion with the components, and one time I will create and multiple times I will use in this application. Okay, that is the benefit of our components. And next, that is first feature, and second feature we can say as virtual DOM. And next, another thing we can say as declarative approach, and we can say as unidirectional flow also we can see. And by using this one we can maintain state and prop data, we can maintain state and prop also. Okay, next, another thing we can achieve here, search engine optimization by using server side rendering process. Okay, next, another point we can say as learn learn once learn once and write everywhere, right? Everywhere or utilize everywhere, that is also possible. Okay, next, another thing first we'll start here components topic. Okay, we'll start here components topic. Okay, now in the components topic, okay, let me take one example, and that example is nothing but, suppose for example, billing. Okay, now we need to build one, what is that billing, and for that one first we'll go with one, what is that chart, right? Means we can say as plan. Okay, now plan will prepare to before going to the construction of billing. Okay, now that time what we'll do, we'll create like blocks. Okay, now for what, billing means, suppose this is one of the block for hall, and it is one of the block for kitchen room, and this is one block for, okay, now god room means puja room, we can say puja room. And next, it is one of the bedroom, suppose it is bedroom, and next bedroom 2, and we can say as storeroom. Okay, now for this billing, these all are billing blocks, these all are blocks for the billing. Same like that, components are billing blocks. Components are billing 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 blocks for React application. Billing blocks for React application. If you want to create any one of the application, and here we have to use components. Okay, now example, look at here. I need to create one application, and in that application And first mandatory thing is header portion. Okay, now this header portion I will consider like one component, and next downside portion I will consider as footer section, and remaining things I will create into the number of blocks. Okay, now like we can say as main section, and next this one, these two are we can say as aside sections. Okay, now this one aside section, and again I will consider it as main section. Okay, now this is completely one application, and this application, okay, I divided into number of blocks, and this is nothing but the component. Okay, it is nothing but the component. The component means building blocks for React application. And here and here we can achieve this one by using two ways. One is class component. Okay, now components are two types. One is class component, and second one is functional component. Class component and functional component, any one of the thing we can use to create our application. Okay, and first one class component, and second one is functional component. Okay, and we can take points one by one. Okay, let me write points here one by one. And first point is class component. Okay, class component we can say as stateful component. We can say as stateful components. Okay, and next functional component we can say as stateless component means we don't have any states here, and we don't have any life cycle methods we don't have in functional components. Okay, and here we have state as well as life cycle methods. Here we have state and life life cycle life cycle methods we have. Okay, next point. Here all components we are doing with the .jsx extension, and here also all components we are doing with .jsx extension. Okay, now .jsx extension means javascript. Okay, xml means extensible markup language, means okay, now html elements. Okay, now we are writing in javascript itself. Okay, now that is nothing but the JSX. Okay, JSX extension we are using for class component as well as functional component. Okay, next one, this is syntax wise. Okay, syntax wise it is very complicated. It is very complicated. But when it comes to syntax wise, functional component is easy manner. Okay, now easy manner, and we can handle very easily. Okay, next another point. Okay, and this class component we are dealing with this keyword this keyword dealing with the this keyword. Okay, but here we will not deal with the this keyword. Okay, now keyword this keyword not involved. Okay, not involved this keyword when it comes to the functional component. Okay, next another point. Here we can say as life cycle methods life cycle methods life cycle methods are present. And we can say here point as, okay, now life cycle methods are absent. Okay, but we can achieve it by using, okay, now hooks methods by using we can achieve it by using hooks method and first hook method. Okay, now we can achieve it this one by using use effect. By using use effect method, we can achieve our life cycle methods. Okay. Next we'll discuss syntax wise. Okay, now we'll write syntax wise for the class component. Okay, now for the class component and here functional component. Okay, now for class component syntax is first we need to go with the import react import react from okay, now react library. Okay, next after that we need to create class and class name followed with the class name. Any class name is fine. I'm taking here app. And next later on, okay, and later on we'll take here extends keyword. Let me write properly. Okay, now class name extends react from components, and inside it we need to follow one render method, and inside the render method we need to follow return keyword, and inside it we need to write our html elements. Okay, next we need to close here. Next after that if I want to utilize in another component, we have to follow two things: exporting and importing it. Okay, now export and importing process. This export and import I will discuss in next video. Meanwhile I will take here directly one statement, and that statement is nothing but, okay, now export default export default default and class name call it as app. Okay, now this syntax is related to the class component, and we'll take here functional component syntax. Okay, now for the functional component, again we need to take, okay, functional component syntax. Okay, now for the functional component syntax, first we need to take here import react from react from react library. And next later on we need to create here function name. Any function name is fine. I will take here with variable one function name as app. Okay, now we'll go with here arrow function. I'm storing inside one variable called it as app, and inside it I will follow return statement, and inside the return statement elements. What elements? We can say as html elements, and close the return statement and close it. Again we need to export it, so I will export here. Okay, I will export it here by using export default. Okay, now app. Okay, now what is this export and import? We'll discuss in next video. Okay, this is syntax of a class component and functional component, and it is the difference between class component and functional component and theory. Okay, now let us discuss practically. And for that one, we created in last class one react project, right? Just import it into Visual Studio, and in this Visual Studio, let me take just the, okay, now in this src we have one folder called it as app.jsx, right? Okay, in this app.jsx predefinedly some code they given. Just delete this predefined code. Okay, next, okay, now let me delete all the things. Okay, now first I will go with here based on the class component process. Okay, now I will take first class component process. So how to take class component? Observe carefully. First I need to import react from okay, now react library, right? Okay, now let me take just, wait. Okay, single quotes, it is not working in my laptop, so I will take external. Okay, now what is it? React. Next, after completion of test one, okay, now what I need to create class and class name as app and extends keyword, and after extends keyword we need to take react dot, okay, now component, and inside it we need to follow one render method, and inside the render method again we need to follow return keyword. Okay, and for this return keyword parenthesis, not the flower basis, and inside it I will follow one element, html elements, suppose h1. Next, for this h1 I will take a statement, call it as welcome. Okay, now welcome to class component, welcome to class component. Okay, and next I need to export this one, then only possible to import inside our what is it, main.jsx, right? Already they imported app.jsx here, so I need to export this one, right? So I will export here by using default, because they imported here defaulting way only. So what is this export import, we'll see in next class. Okay, now meanwhile observe carefully, export app. Okay, now how to export default, right? Then take here keyword, call it as default. Okay, now let me execute this file. How to execute it? By using terminal, and in the terminal cd we need to change the directory, because our project name call it as react, right? So take here cd r tab button, and next one go with here npm run div end. Okay, now it will generate one url for us, and take that url. Okay, now go enter, then it will redirect to the browser our output. Okay, now on this browser it is giving for us output, call it as welcome to class component. Okay, now it is giving in middle, because here in main.jsx. Okay, now here it is taking one index.html. So in this index.html by default they given some code. Just delete this code completely by using Control Alt and backspace. Okay, next, as well as app.jsx also they given predefined code. Just take that code and delete, because we don't want it. Okay, now observe carefully output. Now it is giving here, it is giving here our output. Okay, now this is nothing but the what is it, class component. Okay, now we'll take here again another component, call it as functional component. Okay, now let me go with this one in comment line. Okay, now observe carefully, this time I will discuss about functional component. Okay, now what is it, functional component. Okay, now go with comment line. Okay, now how to take comment line, double forward slash, right? Okay, now here what is it, first we need to import. Okay, now how to import it, by using import keyword. What I want to import, react. Okay, from react library. Next, later on we need to take your functional component, right? Any functional component is fine. Suppose I will take function keyword with the function name as app parenthesis, and inside flower base we need to follow return keyword, and inside the return keyword, not the flower base parenthesis. Okay, inside the parenthesis we need to write any one of the element, right? I will go with here h1 element. I will write statement, call it as welcome to functional component. Okay, functional component. Okay, now just check whether it is giving output or not. Okay, now how to check it, again take new terminal and go with here, change the directory by using cd. Our project name is react, so r, press tab button, and after that npm run div for execute our project. It will create one url, and press go enter. It will redirect our output on browser. Okay, it is not giving up. Okay, now why it is not giving, well, check it. Just go to code and check it where we did mistake. Okay, I think here we are not exporting, right? Then export here by using default. Okay, now default exporting of our app. Okay, now again check it here output. Now it's not giving a, yes, it's giving. Okay, it is nothing but the functional component. Okay, now this is syntax related to the functional component and class component. Okay, not only like this functional component, we can take another functional component. Okay, now let us take with arrow function I will do. Okay, now import react from react library. Later on create one arrow function. Okay, inside arrow function use return keyword parenthesis, and inside it we need to write html element. So take h1, and inside the h1 write here functional arrow function. Okay, now what is it? Arrow function be given. Okay, now after arrow function we need to execute this run, right? If you want to execute, mandatory we need to assign this one to one what is it variable. So variable name I will consider as app. Okay, now export it by using default, then export default default. Okay, now functional name call it as app. Okay, now again check it here output. Now it is giving or not, it is giving arrow function. Okay, now this is our today's class component and functional component and for components topic. We'll meet again in next class. Bye guys.